quickly before we jump into the video, I may or may not be streaming by the time you're watching this video, so if you want to check out my Twitch channel, that'll be linked in the description below. Love to see you out there, but if not, totally cool. And of course, if you want to check it out, that's my home of streaming to begin with, so I'll be over there at some point. But regardless, back to the regularly scheduled content. It's another big week for Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and it's a week that actually might not just have everything dumped on it on Tuesday. Normally we see updates happen and all that kind of stuff, and then it's a week kind of just going with the flow. We might see some things that actually come out throughout the week, and we'll talk about that all here in this, but today I want to talk to you guys about 11 things to look out for this week in Black Ops 4. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's just jump right into it. The first thing up on deck is that it's your final day of the Nuketown featured playlist. Whether you love it or hate it, Nuketown has been a 24/7 playlist for the last week, and it offers TDM, kill confirmed, hardpoint, and domination in 6v6 wild games, and probably what you've come in contact with a lot is a lot of games spawn trapping. So it might be tough as a solo player, but if you have a squad and you guys want to try and wipe the enemy team out and completely decimate them, this is your last chance to do so. Additionally, Chaos Domination is probably going to be going as well as of tomorrow, because we are going to see things as a normal rotation start to refresh out, so we'll get new stuff on tap with the playlist and multiplayer. And as for that, the second thing we can talk about here in this video deals actually with that playlist refresh, because we know of what one of the modes is going to be. As for if Chaos Domination goes away and gets replaced by, say, maybe the Endurance Mosh Pit or something like that coming back, one of the ones that we already know of is that Blackjack's gun game is going to be returning as of this upcoming week. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, the playlist will refresh and we'll have Blackjack's gun game. And if you don't have the SWAT, the Daemon, the Secret Santa, the Sleigh Bell, or the new Cap 45, you have the opportunity to play with some of those as well, on top of just your normal guns in rotation in regular gun game. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, where everything ranks up in terms of where in that game you earn those new weapons. But if you want to try them out for a little bit, you can do this. Games are relatively quick, so you can hop back into other matches relatively quickly. It's not going to take you too long to spend some time and get the feel of some of the new weapons. But outside of that, the next thing to look forward to as of tomorrow is going to be another title update. Title update 1.12 for Black Ops 4 is scheduled to go live tomorrow and start the rollout process right around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Once the update gets pushed out, again, right at that time, the rollout process really comes down to when the third parties of Sony and Microsoft push them out. But it's going to be something you have to physically download, then you'll be able to install it and then jump into the game as an updated version with a bunch of stuff that we'll talk about here actually in just a second. The one thing that I found curious was that it said that the rollout process for this was throughout the next week, which is kind of weird because we usually always get everything just dropped on Tuesday, and then it just is kind of like, again, roll with the punches and go with the flow as the week progresses. There's not really anything that happens outside of that, but it seems like we're gonna get some stuff introduced throughout the week, which we'll talk about and come back to in just a second. But the first things up that we can talk about deal with some blackout changes, in which we'll see, of course, the changes to concussions, armor, and then the clusters as well. As for the concussion nerf, this is where we'll see a little bit of a fundamental change. Recently, we saw that the stack value was changed from 2 to 1, but now we're gonna end up seeing a change in the area of effect radius, so you're gonna have to get it closer to your enemy in order for them to be stunned. The throw distance is going to be decreased a little bit for concussion grenades. The time that the concussion effect lasts will change, and also you have some new outplay mechanics being introduced, in which you can end up swapping your weapons, meleeing, and throwing equipment back. So you still can't ADS or anything like that, but you do have some more ability than you did beforehand. But it is something that these will be changed as of tomorrow's update. As for armor, we're actually going to get armor as a whole changed, but level 3 was kind of the primary here and what was really the big focus of it. Starting with level 3, you're going to end up requiring more armor plates to repair it back to full, whereas level 1 and level 2 will only take 1 shard to end up getting a full tick of health back on that armor. Level 3 is going to take 2 shards to get 1 tick of health back. Now, as for armor overall, that's where it's actually going to be reducing the damage protection for armor across the board. Whether you have level 1 through level 3, doesn't matter, you're not going to sponge as much damage as you would beforehand. So if you love that armor, play some Blackout today, because it's going to change as of tomorrow. And the final thing in terms of changes to Blackout is dealing with the cluster grenade nerf, in which this one's pretty straightforward. You have an extra second before that cluster grenade goes off, so you have a little bit more time to get away from it if you're, say, the player it's being thrown at, but you also have to account for that when you're throwing the grenade yourself. itself. Now, as for the other part of this, it's not going to do as much damage anymore, and especially the big focus of that part was on the secondary little mini clusters that explode out after the first blast. So that's something that, again, may affect how you actually play with the meta of cluster grenades, but those are your changes here for Blackout. Now, in terms of content added in, this is where we start to see the camo support coming along, because we do know that we have mastery camos for zombies coming. That's something that I guess we can kind of chain in here and not put as its own separate thing, but zombies camos are going to have their masteries, so they already have their performance and technicals, but now you're going to be able to see some mastery as well for those that have completed everything. But in terms of Blackout, I'm curious to see how this works, because Treyarch's last mention of this was rather ambiguous and mentioned that it was firstly after the initial rollout, which can be taken two ways here for this update. Either it's after the initial rollout of the patch and it all happens tomorrow, so that initial rollout is literally when the update goes to consoles, or it doesn't happen tomorrow and it follows shortly after on a different day. But either way, they're going to be working on their own standalone system, which is a little bit different than that of what we have with Zombies stuff being added in tomorrow, because Zombies already has a camo progression system implemented. Blackout has no such thing. But Treyarch actually, below the radar, mentioned this a little bit further about the system outside of what they had for the basic framework in a Reddit response that said, the weapon camo progression design for Blackout is a different system with its own challenges compared to multiplayer, and gold, diamond, and dark matter unlocked in multiplayer will not be automatically unlocked in Blackout. There will be different camos to unlock in Blackout on the path to mastery camos through a wholly new mechanic. As we mentioned in an earlier update, we want to make sure that equipping these camos in each mode proves that you put in the effort required to earn them. Hope this helps. More details to come next week. That was in response to somebody saying they were kind of confused as to how it would work, and I think this provides a little bit more insight, because we now get to see that not only firstly will diamond, dark matter, and gold not be automatically unlocked if you have them from multiplayer where they just shift over to Blackout, but instead there's also going to be things that it seems like a fully fledged camo system with, say, performance, technicals, and then their own mastery camos as well, plus getting that dark matter, gold, and diamond as well from multiplayer. Now, curiously enough, these actually had some leaks in which some of these camos for the progression system itself were data mined and placed over on Reddit. I can leave a link in the description below. Of course, I can't put these on screen for you guys, but some of these you may actually recognize. They're just palette swaps of current MP and zombies camos, but they have been around since DLC 1, so it's been something that these have been in place and scheduled to come out at some point, and this whole progression system will be adding in, again, those performance and technicals seemingly. But unfortunately, with this leak, there was nothing that referenced any original new mastery camos, so I'm still hoping that those do come out. But again, we'll see in time here as this week unfolds. We do have some hints as to what will be coming, and I'm super excited. I am ready to grind out some camos within Blackout. That said, moving right along, the final thing we'll talk about within Blackout deals with a brand new game mode coming on Wednesday, or at least for PlayStation 4 users, that being the new mode Ambush. This is going to be something that allows you to only use snipers, melees, and launchers, but it's also going to have a little bit of a twist where the zone never stops coming in. Now, it's not specified if the zone comes in at like fast collapse or it's going to be like something like a regular speed, but it is something that never stops. So you're going to be continually trying to move inward. And truth be told, I don't know if I would go to the outer regions of the map really at all, because you won't have much time to really loot and then get on the way unless you find a vehicle. That said, I'm very excited for this one. I always wanted to see snipers only mode from the very beginning here of this. I think it'll be cool to play out. That's going to be added in on Wednesday, right after Down But Not Out finishes its run here on PlayStation 4. So that's something you can jump right back into. They're going to be chained back to back, so you'll be able to jump right in if you want to check that out. Now, outside of Blackout stuff, let's talk a little about zombies, because there is a brief bit here to mention. As we already talked about when we talked about the camos, there are going to be mastery camos added into zombies as well, so that's something to look out for and get excited for. But outside of that, we have the brand new Gauntlet for 9 coming to zombies. Now, if you guys liked Unsinkable, the Voyage of Despair one, this one will be, I think, equally as interesting, and I'm super excited to jump on and check this one out. And if it's anything that showcases how we'll be getting these released in patterns, I'd be all cool if we get one every 2 weeks, a new one added in for each zombies map, and eventually having multiple per each map. I think it'd be cool. But that said, the Gauntlet for 9 will be coming as of tomorrow with the update, and we'll add, again, 30 brand new and unique challenges for the rounds in 9, and your goal is to complete that as fast as possible. So definitely excited to check that one out in full. And then also, an additional change here coming is is that classic loot and weapons are going to be available in zombies where they have not been. So if you ended up missing things like the MP40, like the Galil, the Damon 3XP, the SWAT RFT, and the Cap 45, those will be in the mystery box across every Black Ops 4 Zombies map for all players. The only difference is that along with getting them in your armory, you can still use them, but if you don't have them unlocked via that progression of, say, the contraband stream, you won't be able to add the attachments to it, and therefore it's kind of a, you can use the base, but not necessarily an upgraded or more personalized version of that. So that's something that still gives you incentive to go out and rank up your contraband stream, but it also is something you can still use it regardless. The last big thing coming out of this update deals with League Play, and they described it as a League Play update, so I'm really not sure how to take this. The message, like the camos, was rather ambiguous the last time Treyarch mentioned it, and they made it seem like it really wasn't coming this week, but instead the groundwork will be set for it coming this week. But the message ended up saying we'll have more news to share next week about the upcoming rollout of League Play and the World League Hub. Now, firstly, of course, it's 2 days ago that this ended up happening, so next week refers now to this coming week, so that's something you don't really need to pay too much attention to, but the more and more I think about it, the upcoming rollout could refer to either two things. One, a slight delay that we won't see League Play come in that initial January timeframe, but shortly thereafter, or two, it could be the addition of the hub with tomorrow's update, and then maybe say on the weekend, the first League Play event. Like we mentioned earlier in the video, that would then tie into the reference of 1.12 being dropped throughout the week and not necessarily just at one point on a Tuesday, whereas most updates do just drop on that one day and everything is kind of just given all up front. And additionally, we know that the ranked League Play events will be something that do happen on a sort of limited time basis. It's not going to be like seasons in previous versions of League Play, so it would be something that maybe that then ties into it coming at a later point. But I'm a little concerned, but at the same time, that explanation of possibly holding out until the weekend for a ranked event, that kind of also gives me a little bit more comfort. But as always, it's not necessarily confirmed, that's just how I'm interpreting it. And the final thing we'll talk about that is 100% confirmed here for this week is, as of tomorrow, there will be market refreshes as it happens every single week. For PlayStation 4, your last chance items that will be refreshing tomorrow are, of course, your Vampire Hunter bundle for the Vapor. This actually comes with multiple items up front, unlike the special order where you have to grind it out. You can, of course, get multiple items of the Bleeding War Paint, the Demon Skull sticker, the Werewolf tag, the Moonlight Showdown calling card, and the Vampire Hunter Vapor variants, of course, all up front for that $10 bundle. The Fer-de-Lance Nomad outfit, the new War Paints, and the 5 Elements emotes are also available in Blackjack's shop until tomorrow. Then in the special orders, you have the Cypher special order, which I don't normally care for a lot of the special orders, but the Cypher reactive camo is pretty cool, so I personally ended up picking that one up. And then the Sterling special order is going to be there until tomorrow as well. As for Xbox One and PC, your last chance items are the Mass reactive camo, which is activated by getting headshots with the Koshka. Then you have the Desert Eagle Prophet outfit, the Smiley Reticle, the Fern War Paint, and the Ultimus Richtofen and Daimyo special order for Recon. Those are going to be all going away as of tomorrow, but for Xbox One and PC, what we had on PlayStation 4 will be coming to you, and then as for PlayStation 4, that's where it's kind of unknown territory. The final thing I want to talk about before we wrap everything up, though, is all speculation, but it is something that comes into my mind, and I think maybe it could happen, that being another 2x event. So personally, I'm thinking Blackout this time, a double merits event, especially given that we have a new limited time mode launching on PlayStation 4 this week, and we haven't seen anything for double merits just yet in Absolute Zero. Additionally, we're also getting into the final weeks of Absolute Zero, and we haven't seen any sort of tier boost event this entire event. So it wouldn't surprise me if we maybe end up seeing a double tier progression this upcoming weekend, maybe the next, along with maybe say another 50% off tiers deal, which we have seen, that being at the end of December. But again, coming up on those last few weeks of the event, they're definitely going to be trying to push some last second deals to try and maximize not only their sales revenue, but also allowing players that maybe may not normally be able to get all those things unlocked to have the opportunity to do so. So I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out as well. But ultimately, that is 11 things here to look out for in Black Ops 4 this week. Again, a very packed week up on deck, and I'm curious to see how the timing of some of these things works out. But that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below as well. What are you guys looking forward to the most here out of this week? Are you looking forward to the Blackout changes, the camos for Blackout and Zombies, the new Gauntlet for 9, whatever it is? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed, again, drop a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and want to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 4 multiplayer, Blackout, Zombies. We got you covered, the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So if any of it interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it is, link in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. Honest and Espresso, take care, and peace.